Hey, what's up guys, Darkbreaker here, and in today's video, let's talk about patch 3.2b, and as you guys can see here already, a little teaser, new champions for 3.2b, but yeah, let's get started. Ahoy, landlubbers, welcome to patch 3.2b. This will be the first patch that the 2022 wildrift Icons Global Championship will be played on. That's a whole lot for one patch, so let's dive in. We are tackling a few champions that have been dominating forces. Wait, this is crazy. Oh, it's not gonna be in 3.2, it's gonna be on 3.2b. We're tackling a few champions that have been dominating forces in their role, and also revisiting the jungle to make some systematic adjustments after our previous changes. Nautilus and Pyke are also making a splash this patch with a debut. Whether you like to set your team up for some gnarly wombo combos or help them secure the kill, they are ready to help you bring a little bit of salt to the dragon lane, no matter your style. This patch will last a little longer than balance changes typically do, but we will see you back here for patch 3.2c on June 29. Okay, nice. New champions Nautilus, the titan of the depths. This champion, a lonely legend as old as the first piers sunk in bilge water, the armored Goliath known as Nautilus roams the dark waters off the coast of the Blue Flames. Isles, driven by a forgotten betrayal, he strikes without warning, swinging his enormous anchor to save the wretched and drag the greedy to their doom. It is said he comes for those who forget to pay the bilgewater tithe, pulling them down beneath the waves with him, an ironclad reminder that none can escape the depths. I don't know if I'm going to read the description of Pyke as well, but this champion can be played AP, but mainly he's being played as a super tanky champion. I think he is very similar to Alistair being super tanky. He has a hook, he can pull people towards you. He can use the ultimate similar to Vi's ultimate, but the anchor is gonna follow the champion and then he's gonna get knocked up and everyone on the path as well. The shield on the second ability gives him a huge shield as well. I think it does 2 damage as well or something. I don't remember exactly. But Nautilus is a very, very tanky champion, mainly as a support, can be played maybe as AP jungler or AP tank top lane or AP champion in the mid lane, but mainly a tank support. Now Pyke, I actually don't even know Pyke's playstyle. I know he's like the lethality support, maybe you can play mid lane. Pyke the Blood Harbor Ripper. A renowned harpooner from the slaughtered docks of Bilgewater, Pyke should have met his death in the belly of a gigantic jawfish, and yet he returned, now stalking the dank allies and backways of his former hometown. He uses his new supernatural gifts to bring a swift and gruesome end to those who make the fortune by exploiting others, and a city that prides itself on hunting monsters now finds a monster hunting them. Both champions are getting released on June 21, so by the time you're watching, they are getting released 2 weeks later, around 2 weeks later. But yeah, I will obviously try to make guides and videos for those 2 champions, so stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss it, but yeah, new features are random. Ultra rapid fire mode is coming out. Oh, it's Aram plus Urf together. That's gonna be a cool mode, to be honest. June 20. So that's also in 2 weeks. Event icons. The crowd is roaring and the stage is set. Who will take home the trophy? That's a good question. Write down your favorite team or the team you guys think is gonna win the Icons 2022 in wildrift. It's gonna start June 14, so by the time you're watching, 1 week later. Rise from the deep, you never know what's lurking below the surface or maybe even just above it. The Rise from the Deep event begins June 21. Pilgwater event. Now let's get started with the champion changes. I mean, if you guys have watched the preview, the preview of 3.2b, we already know what's gonna happen, but let's repeat it and summarize it quickly. Champion changes, Draven received a buff, so now he is better. His attack speed got increased by 10% in total, so his early game is gonna be better. Then he's also from the passive, he's getting 30 additional gold base stats, plus Blood Rush. Cooldown is getting reduced by 2 seconds, but this doesn't really affect him too much, because if you're collecting your eggs, you can use Blood Rush immediately, so this doesn't matter too much. But it's gonna make his early game definitely better. The next one, Evelynn. Evelynn received a nerf. They nerfed her base movement speed. They nerfed the base HP, but they buffed the HP per level. So in the late game, she will have more HP now, but in the early game, she's definitely going to be more squishy, less movement speed, and the charm duration is also receiving a nerf by 0.25 at every rank. So Evelynn, definitely, you have control wards right now. She's also getting a nerf. So her early game and her snowball potential might be weaker with this, but I mean, Evelynn is one of those champions that works the best if you're playing against bad people or bad players, because you can just free farm them, gank them over and over, and get free donation kills. I think her playstyle is still gonna work the same. Definitely weaker though. I think in high elo and super high elo she's gonna be weaker, but in lower elo she's still gonna work fine. She's slightly weaker, but still one of the very good snowballing champion. Aurelia received a nerf that I don't think is significant. They nerfed the base damage of the third ability of your stun and the slow of the ultimate by 0.5. But yeah, this is definitely making her better. Wait, what am I talking about? This is definitely making her worse by a little bit, but not too much. She's still broken. Like, they need to nerf the passive. They need to nerf the first ability. That's the main issue. She has too much sustain. Like, the items, Blade of the Rune King, Death and Sunra, they just make her too strong. Lulu is also receiving a nerf. They nerf the movement speed on the second ability by 10. And they also nerf the ultimate by 50 at every rank. So I wouldn't say it's too much, but it's gonna be noticeable. She's not gonna be she's still gonna be strong, but definitely weaker than beforehand. Now Master Yi received a buff. They increased the base damage by 15. Oh, onto monsters. It's just monsters. Wait, I thought it's total damage. They just increased the damage onto monsters. I mean, it's gonna make his jungle clear a little bit better, but Master Yi is... I mean, it's fine. Like, he doesn't need a buff. Whenever they touch Master Yi, broken, then nerf, useless, broken, useless, broken, useless. It's very hard to balance a champion like Master Yi, so I think it's a fine buff, but it's not gonna make him suddenly broken again. It's not enough. I mean, it's fine. Like, let him be not OP. Morgana is getting a buff in combination with the new Morgana skin. Morgana's Dark Binding cooldown reduced by 1 second, and Morgana's shield on the black shield is getting increased, like the base stats. Scaling weaker though. So overall it's a buff for Morgana. It's gonna make her slightly better, but nothing major. Tristana's base AD got increased. Attack damage per level increased by almost 1 per level. And I was talking to Doom and he did say this is actually a pretty big buff for a scaling champion like Tristana, because it will make her better. Like, everything will do more damage, because the more base AD you have, the more damage you will do on your abilities and your auto attacks. Now this one is the biggest MVP of this patch. Wukong is receiving a pretty significant buff. Base attack damage increased by 6. So all of his abilities and his auto attacks are gonna do more damage. His jungle clear is gonna be quicker, because people didn't like the last time I talked about, people are like, oh, this is not a big buff. 6 AD additionally, this is a lot. Auto attacks more, abilities more damage. Okay, and then AD ratio in the early game also increased from 10 to 30. In the late game, it's still above, but especially in the early game, your first ability is gonna do so much more damage right now. Because understand, more damage. So the ultimate, the secondary cast of the ultimate, the interval between is only 3 seconds right now, so you can recast your ultimate again quicker. The attack range of the ultimate got decreased, but they gave you 20% immediate movement speed instead of over time movement speed. So now it's easier for you to catch them. So that's like a compensation. But basically, I would say the ultimate is better for sure. And then also the first ability and the base, that's a big buff. Cyclone maybe not insane buff, but definitely no noticeable buff. Sire's damage on the blade callers getting increased by 5. Doesn't really matter. Yumi is getting nerfed. Pop and block is getting increased by 2 seconds, so she can't give as much shield as she could before in the early game. We are taking back some of the chin scratches and the previous buff we gave her that allowed her to interact and mitigate damage more often. So she can't do, or she can't give as much shield as beforehand. Gameplay changes, the boots. This is nice. Boots are only costing 400 right now, tier 1 and tier 2 600. So overall the price doesn't change, but you can get boots quicker now. Get boots. Boots are good. Movement speed means better rotation. You can dodge abilities easier. Always get boots early game. For all you ADC players that are not getting boots, get boots. For everyone who's not getting boots, because you're greedy motherfuckers, get boots. Please get boots. Is just boots. I always get boots early on. It's such. You get movement speed. You can use the enchantment to get extra movement speed to get back to the lane quicker, to rotate. If you have more movement speed, it's easier for you to chase people down. It's easier for you to kite them. It's easier for you to hit them, etc. Always get boots. Movement speed is one of the best stats in the game. Rune changes, Keystone. Electrocute is getting a slight buff, 580, 5 base damage more. I mean, it's fine, but nothing special. Keystone Font of Life is getting a nerf, 2 seconds cooldown for melee and 3 seconds cooldown for range. This is actually a pretty big nerf, I would say. 2 seconds obviously from 8 to 10, and then 3 seconds from range to range 12 to 15. Bone plating getting a buff as well. Cooldown getting reduced by 5 seconds, and damage reduction getting increased by 5. So this is gonna make bone plating better, but I think bone plating is like a rune that you go against burst champions or in the jungle, so kind of situational. And in the jungle, they reduce the base HP of the red and blue buff, so jungle clear is going to be easier again for some champions that have been struggling against the buff, or basically the jungle clear time in the early game is going to be better now. And now health regeneration from the smite is getting increased by 10 as well when you're using smite against monsters. This is also, like in general, like they are already, okay, here they explain it. We previously removed the health regeneration from blue buff, and to compensate that, they are increasing the regeneration when you're smiting monsters. And skins, Katarina, new skin. Misfortune, new skin on 9. Jace, new skin. Nautilus, new skin. And Pyke, new skin. Okay. Accessories, no one cares about that. Do you guys know where they put them down now? Accessories here, because no one cares about accessories. But yeah, that's about it for the balance changes and the patch. I'm hyped about Pyke and Nautilus. That's gonna be cool. And obviously the icons are gonna start. I'm gonna co-stream whenever I can, hopefully, if the times are not bad. And definitely write down below in the comments whether or not you guys enjoyed the patch, what you guys like, what you guys don't like, and which team you guys are rooting for in the icons, and which team you think is gonna win it. But yeah, that's committed for the patch. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I see you next time. Bye bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright.